Hi, today I'm gonna show you how to knit this Christmas sweater, patterned by Drops Design. Let's get started. I use Drops Design free pattern named Candy Cane Lane. Please go to my description box. I put all the information there so you can go get the free pattern. You have to have written pattern from their website because I'm not telling you every single detail, but I pretty much cover most important part. Okay, and I am going to knit size small. This sweater, I knitted it from top to down, then sleeve. And as you can see, there's two different color design. This is the chart for design. Again, I said I knitted it from top to down, but this chart you have to read from bottom to top. Okay, from bottom to top. Then always read from right to left. And the first 4 stitch all white, which means repeat of 4. Okay, white, 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 white. Then second row, white, 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 blue, something like that. Okay, from bottom to top and from right to left. That's how you read. And there's number from 1 to 8 and yarrow, which means that's the place, that's the row you have to increase certain stitches, and you have to follow the written instruction. And at the number 5, I actually change because there's the two different color the yarn using on that row, and I don't really like the increasing um 2 colors. Okay, and everything else is always only one color use. So the 5 you have to be very careful. Okay, I will actually let you know. And on the top part there is AX, which is after the yoke you have to actually repeat that AX chart all the way down to the bottom. Okay, cast on with blue yarn for me, and I'm using 3.5 millimeter needle instead of 3. I kind of want to knit a little bit loose sweater, so I use a little bit bigger needle, and I cast 96 because my size is the small. Okay, so 96 is the multiple of 4 because this is the neck rib to start, and the neck rib should be repeat of knit 2 and purl 2, so has to be multiple of 4. But you have a pattern, so just follow your size pattern. Now I just make the 96 cast. Okay, and I am going to knit around, so you have to connect both ends. Because I'm using such a long cable, I'm going to use the magic loop technique, and I'm gonna put the link in the description box if you don't know the technique, so you can actually see how to do it. Anyway, the neck rib starts now and repeat of knit 2 and purl 2. And the pattern says for maybe 1 inch and 1/8. But I knitted it about the 1.5 inch. Okay, it's pretty much up to you, but you know they're converting from the centimeter to inch, so they want to knit about the 3 centimeter, which is 1 1/8 inch. Okay, so anyway, let's start making rib, which is repeat of knit 2 and purl 2. You just have to be very careful on the first row, because if you make a mistake on first row, you have to actually do all over. From the second row, you just have to knit over knit stitch and purl over purl stitch. So you don't really have to worry if you did right on the first row. Okay? And I'm using the blue yarn, the pattern using red. It's, I guess, up to you, but you should use, complete different color. If you're using like yellow and orange, the design can't really show that much. So blue and white, or red and white, black and white, something like that. Okay? And again, I made about 1.5 inch of the rib. After the rib, you have to actually increase 24 stitches next round. Okay? I finished my rib. Okay? 1.5 inches. And now I change my needle from 3.5 to 4.5 millimeter. Okay? I changed little bit pattern, because that way may be easier for me. So I pretty much follow the pattern, but here and there I, change a little bit. Okay? Example 1 is the needle size. Okay? Now you have to increase with 1 row. Okay, and my total cast was 96, and size small, they said increase 24 stitch. So 96 divided by 24 is 4. So this is how you increase. Repeat of knit 4 and close yarn over. They say just a yarn over, and the next round you kind of knit twist it, but I don't like that idea, so I use close yarn over, just like that. You gotta watch my video right now. Close yarn over, you yarn over that way, then knit 4 again, and I'll show you one more time. Okay, close yarn over. The yarn come from top and back like that. Okay, and you have to do 24 times. Because I use the closed yarn over technique in the increasing row, which is previous row, I'm gonna knit one more round, all knit. But you just have to be very careful where you did the closed yarn over. But it's actually easy, better than regular yarn over. There you go. Here comes, this is the closed yarn over. You just have to knit, and this way you can avoid the hole. Okay, and you just knit one round. Now you have total of 120 stitch if you're knitting small size, and you always have to count. Okay, let's talk about the elevation in back of your neck. Some people get confused a little bit. That begin marker is the mid back stitch. Okay, so that's the back piece, and the other half is the front piece. So the back of your neck, you have to raise a little bit. That actually fits you really well. And they said it's optional, but I strongly recommend you to do it because the fitting is completely different. As you can see, this is the old sweater I knit. The back of the rib, you have elevation there. That fits you well. Okay, can you see? After the rib front piece, there's nothing, but from there, slowly increase. That's what we're going to do from now. Okay? Okay, for size small, start with knit 12. Okay, for size medium, it says start with knit 13. Stuff like that. So for size small, again, that's the mid back stitch, which is begin marker, knit 12. So slowly, elevate the back of your neck. So after you knit 12, you actually turn the work. Okay, you gotta actually see the video first. Make sure you knit 12. Then turn the work. Now you add 12 on top of knit 12, which is 24. So from here, you have to make purl 24. Okay? So make purl 24. Then you have to stop. So I purled 24. Then now turn the work. You're on the right side. And 24 plus 12 equal 36. So you have to knit 36 from there. Okay? And you have to go back and forth until you hit 72. Okay, so this is end of the knit 36. After knit 36, you turn the work, and now 36 plus 12 is 48. And this is one tip, okay? You don't want to count, right? So before you start, you should count 48 stitch, then put the marker. So you don't really have to worry about anything. If somebody call you middle of your knitting, you don't really have to worry, right? So put the marker first and just make purl or knit until that marker, okay? This is my last row of the elevation, purl 72, and turn the work, and I'm facing right side. And as you can see, the back piece you have a little bit raised and not the front. And now you go back to the begin marker. You just knit all the way to begin marker, and this is it for the elevation part. Now you will start knitting yoke and then body. Okay, so meet you at the begin marker. Now let's knit yoke. Then you have to actually look at the chart now. Again, you have to read from bottom to top, and bottom is 4 white knit, and it's gonna be all knit after this. So 4 white, which means all knit. So first row should be all white. Okay, this is just a repeat of 4 stitch. The knit stitch should be multiple of 4 still. So knit 4 and knit 4, knit 4, which means just all knit with white yarn. Okay, this is end of the first row. Okay, and second row, as you can see, it's gonna be repeat of white, 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 then blue. Okay, but before you go, I wanna talk about one trick to avoid the jog. Okay, as you can see, the back of my sweater, there's a little bit jog when you change the color. You can't really avoid that jog completely, but you can minimize that jog. Okay? Which is now. Now you change the color and came back around, and this is second row of the white. Okay, if that's the case, okay, before you knit that stitch, you have to actually pick up the previous stitch like that and hook onto the left needle, and those 2 stitch you knit 2 together. Then you can minimize the jog. You don't really have to do it, but if you want to minimize that jog, you need that trick. Okay, then let's do the row 2, which is 3 white and 1 blue. White, 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 then blue. Okay, so second row, you have to repeat those 4 stitch pattern. Okay, and when you use the 2 color, don't pull the yarn too hard, and don't just let it too loose. Okay, just be careful. That's the row number 2. And this is starting third row, which is all white. And you don't have to, do the trick for jog because it's now same color. Okay, so just knit with all white. After row number 3, do the row number 4, then meet you at row number 5 because that's the first row to increase the stitches. Okay, I just finished row number 4. Now starting on row number 5, which is increasing number 1. First of all, I put the marker to divide by 4. Okay, the total stitch count is 120. 120 divided by 4 is 30. So between markers, there is 30 stitches. And now, number 1 increase. I have to increase 44 stitch total in one round evenly. Okay, 44 divided by 4 is 11. So I have to increase 11 stitch within that 30 stitches. Okay, So I kind of want to, try increase evenly. Okay, so 11 stitch width and 30. So 30 divided by 11 is 2.7. So around that area, I have to increase. I'll show you carefully. So anyway, after this row, the stitch count should be 164, which is 120 plus 44 increase. So after row number 5, 164. Now still 120. Okay, so I decide I am going to knit 2, then 1 increase. Then knit 3, then 1 increase. And knit 2 increase. And increasing is close yarn over technique. Okay? Okay, this is starting row number 5. First of all, try to avoid the jog because, changing the color. So pick up that white stitch in previous row, then knit those two together. Try to minimize the jog. And knit 2, then close yarn over. Then knit 3, then close yarn over. I decide repeat knit 2 and knit 3, repeat knit 2 and knit 3, and between knit 2 and 3 you have to increase 1 stitch. Knit 2, increase, knit 3, increase, knit 2, increase, and keep doing until the marker. I just finished first 30 stitch and I increased 11 stitch total. So now the first batch has 44 stitch. And you do exactly same thing, next 30 and next 30 and last 30 stitch. So 44 times 4 is 164. Okay? After this, you just have to follow the chart. And remember, from 1 to 8, with the arrow, you have to increase certain stitches. And you just have to read the patterns. Okay? Except actually number 5. Let's talk about number 5, increasing row. According to my pattern, I have to increase 24 stitches total here, but as you can see, there's 2 colors involving. It's too confusing. I don't really like it. There's white and blue, as you can see. So look at the next row. There's only white in 2 rows. This is the way you want to increase. So there's nothing wrong if you actually increase next row. It's better that way. Okay, so that's about it for the chart. So meet you top of the maybe chart. Okay, pattern says you have to knit AX chart until you hit the 7.5 inch from the bottom of the neck, and my length is 8.5, and not even finish the chart. But that's okay because I want to have a loose sweater. Okay, so this is totally okay. Again, I stop right there in the middle of the AX chart, and next is white row. Now I have to divide by sleeves and body parts. According to my pattern, size small. Starting from the back, knit 45 and transfer sleeve stitch, which is 60 of them. Okay, and then add new cast right there underneath of the armpit. Then knit front piece, which is 90 stitches. Then it comes to the other side of the sleeve and transfer some stitch, then add new cast, then knit back. Okay, so let's start. That's the back piece. There we go. That's the start. I already put some marker, so you're never gonna miss it. That's sleeve, 60 stitch. Okay, and 90 stitch for front piece, then 60 stitch for sleeve again. Let's start knitting again. Okay, you have to follow the chart using the white yarn and then knit until the marker. In other words, knit 45 for half of the back. Okay, you're reaching 45. There we go. And from that marker, the sleeve starts, right? So remove the marker and use the scrap yarn with the tapestry needle. Transfer 60 sleeve stitch onto the thread. You will going to knit sleeves later, but you have to finish body first. So you transfer 60 stitch for sleeve for now. After you transfer all the sleeve stitch, just tidy a knot, okay, and just leave it as is, okay. And if you tidy a knot kind of loosely, you can actually put the sweater on to make sure the size is all okay. So the key is do not use the stitch holder, okay, just like that. Then let's reconnect the body. Then I have to add new cast, 8 of them for size small. Okay, so 8 new cast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and you always count and make sure. Then you reconnect the body. Then you knit 90 stitch. That's for the front piece straight. And you do exactly same thing the other side. Sleeve and reconnect the body. So this is end of the front piece. Here comes the other side of the sleeve. And like I said, you do exactly same thing, which is the transfer 60 sleeve stitch onto the scrap thread. Okay, right there. Again, do the same thing. And after you transfer all the stitch, you add 8 new cast and rejoin the body part. Then knit to the begin marker. Okay, and again add new 8 stitch, then join the body part, knit 45 stitch, which is until the begin marker. So after this, leave the sleeves alone until you finish the body. Okay? There you go. After this, you have to follow the AX chart without the increasing. It says number 8, but forget about number 8 increasing row, okay? But you still have increasing row. And I just actually started next row, which is white, 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 and blue. Repeat of that, 4 pattern, right? And according to the pattern, you have to start from the middle of the 8 new cast right there, because I guess that way you don't really have to worry about the jog, right? Visible jog. But I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to restart from the in middle of the 8 cast, so I'm gonna keep my begin marker right in the back. It's really up to you. Okay, if you don't like the jog visible, start from the 8, middle of the 8 cast. Also, remember where to start. Okay, for the sleeve. For the sleeve, you have to start with white. Okay, so you have to maybe put the marks as sleeve. This is the where I should start for sleeve. Okay, now you can try this on. Okay, again, for the body, after the last row, you just have to repeat AX chart only without number 8 increasing row right there. Forget about it. And I will talk about the increasing rows for body. Okay? My stitch count for body starts with 196. Okay? And as you can see, my written explanation, you have to increase 4 stitches evenly, total of 5 times. First one is after the little over 1 inch, increase 4. Then again, I put markers and divide it by 4. So it's kind of easy to increase evenly. So 4 stitch total in one round, which is 1 1 1 1, total of 4 stitch increase, right? So if you have a marker, you just make decision, maybe 2 before or after the marker you have to increase, and increasing method should be close yarn over. Okay, and from the second increasing row is just about the 2.5 inch. Every 2.5 inch you do same thing. Okay, total of 5 times, which is 20 times increasing stitch. And where? Anywhere between solid color row, no two color row. Okay, that'll be easier. So you just have to keep repeating chart AX with certain increasing. Okay, so here's the thing. There you go. I increase first one right after the 1 inch, and right on the 3, 5, 7, and 9, that's the last increasing row, something like that. Then knit until you reach 11 inch. Okay, I'm done with my body. Okay, from the armpit, according to the pattern, about the 11 inches. And if it's more than 11 inch or little less than 11 inch, fine. You have to finish with white yarn right there, because the rib, you want to use the blue. Okay, so has to finish with white design. Now you want to change the needle from 4.5 to 3.5. Then increase stitches again with blue yarn. Okay, according to my pattern, it says 48 stitches increase. 48, it's quite a bit, but you don't want to have tight rib around your tummy. This is the reason why you increase quite a bit. My total stitch count is 216 divided by 48, which is 4.5. So I am going to knit 4, then close yarn over, then knit 5, then close yarn over. You have to repeat those two 48 times. Okay, so again, I forgot to change the needle, but you must change. With blue yarn, knit 4, then close yarn over, 1 increase, then knit 5, 4, 5, then second close yarn over, something like that. So you have to increase 48 stitches in one round. And right after that, pattern says start making rib, which is repeat of knit 2 and purl 2, but I actually knit one more round because I don't really like make rib over the close yarn over, stitch. So knit one more round, then start making rib. Okay. Now I just changed the needle, but the pattern says I should have changed the needle before the last increasing row. Anyway, let's make a rib. Repeat of knit 2 and purl 2, about 1.5 inches, then cast off. There you go. I knitted it about the 1.5 inches. Now I'm casting off. Knit over knit stitch and purl over purl stitch, cast off. Okay, some people says it's really hard to do the cast off with purl, but it's easy. Just make a purl, then temporary yarn over. Okay, so this is pretty much same as the knitting stitch cast off, then yarn back again and make purl. That's it. So today's tutorial is done. And the second part, we are talking about the sleeve. Okay, so see you soon. Bye for now.